Hello and welcome to our lesson of Quotient of Powers Property, a more advanced look. Okay, first we're going to talk about some definitions. When you are dividing, that's when you're finding the quotient or the answer. Exponents means power. So when you're dividing exponents, the exponents are, here's the big one, subtracted instead of dividing them. So we say the quotient of x, right there tells us we're dividing, of x to the sixth and x squared is going to be x to the fourth power. And we'll talk about how that works in a minute. Here's the rules. Exponents always live by different rules than coefficients. So if we actually are dividing the coefficients like the problem says we need to be, the exponents are subtracted. They do something completely different. So take a look. The coefficients of the variables for x are 8 and 4, and they follow the rule. So 8 divided by 4 would be 2. This is how we got our coefficient of 2. And then when we're talking about our exponents, the 6 and the 2, they don't follow the rules. They have to be subtracted instead. So this is how we got 6 minus 2 is 4. We did the division for the coefficients, but we subtracted on the exponents. So how do you know which exponent you need to write down first to subtract from? Here's the key. You always write the numerator. That's the top exponent first, and then subtract it from the denominator, the bottom one, which is why we had the 6 first and then subtracted the denominator on the last problem. So let's try some. First things first, look at your coefficients. They're going to follow the rules. You're going to take 5 and divide it by 3. You're going to get a really painful decimal number, so you can just leave it as a fraction. That's okay. And then you have your exponents, which you're going to subtract. So you're going to take 9 and take away 2, which should give you 7. So you're actually going to have 5/3 and then x to the 7th. Again, you actually divided those coefficients, 5 over 3, just leave it as an improper fraction, and you subtracted your exponents. So you had 9 minus 2. So take a look at the second one. You have 10 and 2, and those are coefficients, so you need to divide them. So 10 divided by 2 is going to equal 5. And then with the exponents, you're going to have to subtract them. And remember, the numerator always gets put down first for subtraction. So you're going to have 4 minus 7. That's going to give you negative 3. So you're going to have 5z to the negative 3. But if you remember, you can't have a negative exponent as a final answer. That negative exponent is actually telling you, find the reciprocal, meaning we need to move location of the z to the bottom. So if you have 5z to the negative 3, it actually means that you're going to switch the location of the z. The 5 stays where it is. Why is that? Because you've got z, that's considered the base for this exponent negative 3. And the negative 3 only moves the base, the number or the variable that's attached directly to it. So the only things that are going to be moving are the z and the 3. Don't move the coefficient. So you're going to end up with 5, stays where it is. Z moves, and remember, once the exponent moves, it drops off the negative. So your final answer is going to be 5 over z to the 3rd. Let's take a look at another one. Over here, coefficients, divide them, just like they say to. So 18 divided by 9 is 2. Exponents, subtract them. They don't follow the rule. So you're going to take 6 minus 2, and that should give you 4. So you're going to have 2x to the 4th. And that's it for that one. And then the last one right here. You've got decimals. Don't worry. You can either punch them into the calculator and get your answer, or you can move your decimals out. If you move the decimal over one place, you move it over one place there, and look, we've got whole numbers now. So we've got 72 over 3, and then we've still got our z to the 14th and z to the 14th. Now remember the coefficients? They get divided like normal. So 72 divided by 3 is going to be 24. And your exponents get subtracted. So you're going to have 14 minus 14, and that's 0. So you have z to the 0 power. That one's special. Right there, you should remember that if you have any exponent 0, that really means rewrite the z to the 0 as the number 1. So actually you have 24, and instead of z to the 0, that means 1. these two are touching, so it's actually multiplication, you have 24 as your final answer. That sounded like a lot, so if you have to go back and replay that and re-listen to it and try it again, but the key is, remember that the coefficients, you have to divide them like they say, exponents get subtracted, and then remember all these special guys, like z to the 0, and what that really means. Okay, as a quick review, when the equation says to divide exponents, don't divide the exponents. They live by the different rules. You subtract them. They always take one step down from the direction. So if it's division, you actually go one lower in that subtraction. But the coefficients listen, they follow the rules. So divide your coefficients and subtract your exponents. And that's it for our lesson on quotients of power property, a more advanced look.